Hello everybody. Today we're going to do another paper craft, and I am going to take a Monstera leaf that I had on a plant and trace it and get other Monstera leaves, and then I'm going to paint these and construct some kind of a stem such as this, and we'll just go from there. So I am just taking a Monstera leaf, but you can kind of create the shape of a leaf and then cut in different curvature and then little holes. So the Monstera always kind of has these little holes in them. I made mine a little bit bigger. Also, when you cut them, it's going to be easier. I also want to take strips of paper, so I want to leave enough room for this, but when I flatten it, it should have kind of a little bit of give. So I'm just kind of tracing around this plant leaf. And it's kind of loose. So if I miss a certain line, or I'm literally okay with that. It's just kind of a guesstimate. I'm going to make that a little more curved. And then you're just going to keep going in to each segment, just tracing. All right, don't love that. There we go. All right, so I want to erase the parts that I don't want to cut because I want to keep my lines pretty crisp, but enough space to be able to kind of cut through. And, you know, just adjusting your lines here and there for your plant shape. Also wanted to make that a little more curvy. All right, so my Monstera holes are right here. I'm just going to loosely figure out where the circle is, and then I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and add another one right there. And I don't have to erase the middle, it's going to get cut out, but I just want to keep the shape pretty clear. All right, so I've done these 4 different ways, and I now need to make 4 different one of these. So I already have one where I took paper, water, and glue and wrapped it so that we have the stem. So eventually I'm just going to use this. We're going to attach the actual leaf to the top of this so that it has some, you know, some weight, some oomph. So anyway, I'm going to leave that off to the side. I do want to start to prepare some of these. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the paper into a strip. And that's one. Let's see. I think I can get 2. Actually, I could probably cut them on either side and get 4, which is perfect. Ooh. And I'm okay with it tearing because I'm not using that. So do the same thing. Cut the edge of the paper. All right. So I'm going to leave these off to the side and start rolling in my different leaves. So I've got a little bit of water, and I've got a little bit of glue, as well as this little cutting board. It's mostly for like an X-Acto knife, or it's basically a ruler, but it's got a nice rubbery sort of finish to it. All right, so I want to go ahead and start to soak this paper. Now this is a watercolor paper, or Bristol board would work, but I want to go ahead and just soak that in there. And then I'll do it for these as well. We'll just go ahead and soak them all. And I don't really want to leave it in the water so much, so I think I'll go ahead and just get a paper towel and just put it on there. All right, so I think this one is the one that was a little bit wetter. And I want to start to kind of fold this from the corner and sort of give it my give. I'm going to kind of pre-roll it just a little so that it has a direction of where it's going to go. All right, and I'm really just going to go ahead and make that little curve. I have some clear washable Elmer's glue. I'm just going to fill in a little chunk, put it off to the side. Let this sort of roll down into the strip. So letting gravity kind of take its shape. And I'm just going to wipe it clean and start to kind of do my roll. So I want to start off pretty tight. And if you go in that angle, you should get a pretty good curve. I can wipe some of the glue on the previous folds or parts of paper that are in the curve. We'll just extend down. And I want to just keep on going as we go. And add a little tiny bit more. Let that roll down. And I'm going to backtrack a little just so that I've got some of this curvature correct. There's a little bowl of water that I'm using that will also help kind of mold this. We want it to be kind of an interesting balance of being very, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just wiping this on here because I have enough on this one. But you want it to be kind of a balance between just a little bit wet, but also still dry to make it kind of pliable. And I'm trying to very slowly give it a little bit more space by extending it once it's a little more rolled. And then as I wrap the very base or the bottom or the end of it, same thing. And then there we go. All right, so that end part is indeed done. I'm gonna just add a little bit more glue so it stays pretty good. I'm gonna put it back on the paper towel. I'm gonna do it again. I'm just getting it a little bit wetter. I'll go ahead and lay it on the other strip. And we'll do the same thing. We'll just start off with a little bit of glue, roll it down, hold the corner, get the curve going. All right, it's a little delicate, so I'm just going to put it off to the side, and we might have to hot glue some things. So anyway, put that off to the side and go ahead and let it dry. I have been drying it on top of this. Seems to get all the sides. And we'll go ahead and just put those off to the side and let those dry. All right, I'm going to take a break and wash my hands because they're a little bit gluey. All right, so I have let the other things dry and I have prepped my leaves. I want to paint these 4 different colors. So I am thinking I want to paint it kind of a peach, maybe just summer colors. So peach, like a sagey green, maybe aqua or teal, and maybe a dark green. I don't really know. So I have one big brush that I'm going to use, and I want to start off with this peach color that I was vibing, and I have an idea for painting in the next video, but I want to take a little bit of white, a little bit of pink, and a little bit of yellow to get this kind of peachy color. And I'm thinking that actually might be a little too dark, so I'm going to take a little bit more white and soften it up a little. There we go. That's a nice color. All right, so now that I have this color made, I want to go ahead and start streaking it into each one of my pieces of paper. So I'm thinking I'll do this maybe 2 times on each canvas, or each one of these drawings. So maybe that one, and then maybe this one. And you can go outside your lines. The paint should kind of come back in so you can see where it is. I'm going to put that off to the side, and we don't have to do the same one. We can do a completely different one. And again, I'm just going to go over that because, hello, it's going to get cut out, so, and I can still see my lines. And I probably did not want to cross that over, but I guess we could cut it later if we don't love it. So just let it ride. And I'm thinking maybe this one and maybe that one. Okay, so I've got my peach on there. I'm going to go ahead and just clean off my brush. And I'm going to mix another color. So I'm vibing this aqua color. I just want to make it a little lighter. So I'm going to take a little bit of white. And we'll start off a little soft. Oh, that's pretty good. All right, I'm gonna go back to where I was first. I think I used this one, and then that one, and then that one, and then now I'm in order. All right, so I'm thinking I want this one to be that color. Maybe this one. And I probably need to make more of that color. I don't think it's going to last for all 4 pages. All right, I don't know. I'm kind of vibing half of one right here. I don't know. Art is experimental, so sometimes you just want to try some things, but I think that will look pretty with another color. All right, and so now my cycle is for another color and letting all those dry. So I'm going to give my brush a little bit of a cleaning, and I'm going to make sort of a, well, I'm hoping for a minty sagey green. So take a little bit of white and a little bit of the sage green color. And it's a little soupy around the edges because it separated and just spilled out, so I just left it. There we go, that's a pretty sage color. All right, I'm thinking I like this one right here. And maybe we'll go ahead and do this one right here. I'm going to give my brush a little bit of a cleaning and rotate again. And we're going to mix another color. So I want to do kind of a deeper turquoise color. So I'm going to take this little bit of turquoise and a little bit of green and just get it a little bit darker. That's a pretty color. And we'll go ahead and drip on our painting or our canvas. All right, I'm just going to get a little bit of water and a paper towel and just lift up what that was. Ooh, and reallocate it and make a bigger mess. All right, it stained the background, but that's okay. And the rest of the painting is fine. All right, so we just want to go ahead and go into the next color and the next area. All right, so once you guys have these all painted in, it'd probably be a good idea to just give it a little bit of a dry, because we do want to paint the other side and then we're probably going to let it dry again. So just let it dry. I really do not know what keeps happening with my camera, but I have gone back to trying to paint the back side. So we're just going to go ahead and outline the back, kind of in an egg shape, and then just fill it in. And this will be the back side. And I got one more for this one. And we'll go ahead and get pretty close to that edge. And I think I made just the right amount of paint for this. That's awesome. All right, so this color that I made, I basically took the dark green, the yellow, and maybe just a little bit of that teal color just to get a nice color green. So, all right, once you're done with this, you're gonna wanna let it dry. All right, so letting it dry as far as the leaves, we have let the rolled up stems kind of dry too, and I do want to kind of paint these with the color that I just used. So go ahead and possibly mix up some more paint if you feel you need to. I think I ran out, so I'm going to use more green or the dark green and some of that yellow, and we'll just go ahead and mix those together. This is already pretty wet, so I'm gonna just take the skinnier portions, line them up, and just start to kind of paint one side. Letting it sort of roll over the other side. And I'm just swiping on a little bit more paint there because sometimes the paint can actually act like glue. So I'm going to let all of this dry, and then when we come back, we'll go ahead and cut out and maybe even hot glue everything in. But it's pretty wet, so let it dry. All right, so I have let everything dry, and I'm just going to roll these over and let them dry on the other side a little bit more. And we'll go ahead and start to cut out our leaves. All right, so first thing I want to do is just try to find my lines and go ahead and start cutting. I would cut on the inside of the line just because it would be easier to hide it when it does actually start to, you don't want to see your pencil lines. So I'm just cutting out the very far outside lines first, and then I'll go ahead and cut into the middle. All right, so I have one, and we'll just go ahead and keep on going. All right, so I've got these three, and I want to go ahead and cut the circle. So it is probably better if I cut the circle with an X-Acto knife. All right, so I'm going to use the back side of this because it's at least not really viewable. but I have an X-Acto. Word of caution, be very careful with these. These will hurt a lot. So find your line and just go ahead and cut around. So there's one. All right, so I have one. Once you've cut those out, you want to kind of fold it in the middle and then curl the edges. So now you have one leaf. And you want to keep doing that for the next two. While you're waiting, cutting out your circles, you could plug in your hot glue gun, and that will give it some time to sort of heat up. All right, so I just kind of painted that and fixed it a little. And I have plugged in my hot glue gun. I want to go ahead and get my stems or my pieces of, well, my stems. And basically we're going to be assembling them. I'm just going to show you on the back side like this. We're just going to go ahead and glue those. I'm going to let this dry a little bit more and maybe move some of this out of the way. All right, so this one's drying. I got this one. I did want to go ahead and fold these other ones too. So while the hot glue gun is melting or, you know, heating up, we're just going to go ahead and fold down the middle and then just curl the outside. And I'll put those off to the side. So I think the best one out of all of them is, I don't know, maybe this one. All right, I want to go ahead and figure out where I'm going to put these. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in the hot glue. Let's see if it's, oh yeah, it's ready. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a huge glob to the edge of where it's at. And then I just want to push and hold. So the stems themselves are still a little bit damp. It's going to take a while for it to dry with that glue, but once it does dry, it actually should be just a little bit stronger when it does actually dry. And I'm just going to reinforce it on the outside only because it just needs it. But you can also use the other side too. So if you want to paint the other side green, you can, and just follow the formula. I just thought it would be kind of fun to do some tropical colors. So yeah. And again, once these are a little bit stronger and cured, you can bend the leaves a little bit more. Maybe clean up some of the hot glue strings that you no doubt will find. And you just want to go ahead and just put it together, ensemble it. I'm going to let these dry just a little bit more. Colorful Monstera. You could make these for party favors. You could do decoration, anything you really want. But it's just a fun project. I think I'm going to use it as a photo prop for my next video. I'm really vibing with the really pretty kind of peach color and that like light minty color. So I'm thinking even that sage green is really pretty too. So I'm thinking about taking these colors and going ahead and painting something in my next video. Anyway, you guys, this is the finished product, and hopefully I had fun following along. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, tell a friend about it, share, comment if you had a good time, or shout out something you want me to do. Anyway, you guys, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.